When it comes to unknown and obscure serial killers, Karl Denke is at the top of the list. You won't believe all the gruesome things that were found in his apartment, and while he terrified his local community, he's remained mostly forgotten to this day. Karl was born in 1860 in a town that was fittingly called Münsterberg in what is today Poland. Little is known about his childhood other than he was described as being very difficult to raise and one of the worst students in his class. As a young man, he was an apprentice gardener and found some success. When his father died, he received some money, which he used to purchase a farm, which ultimately failed. He then purchased a house, but this also didn't work out and he was forced to sell it. He didn't leave, however, and lived in an apartment he had built on the premises. He was well liked in the local community and got his vending license and ran a butcher shop where he sold meat and leather goods. But when the locals learned what Karl was really up to in his apartment, they were terrified to discover that the meat and skins he sold weren't really from animals. Things fell apart for Karl on the night of December 21st, 1924, when a young homeless man showed up at the police station bleeding from his head. The homeless man told police that he was approached by Karl, who offered him money if he'd come to his apartment and write out a letter for him. Karl likely said that he had difficulty writing. This next part sounds too crazy, but it's true. The homeless man said that Karl told him to start the letter with, "Adolf, you fatty." Hearing this, the homeless man laughed and looked over at Karl just in time to see him winding up a pickaxe. He was able to move just enough to receive a glancing blow to the head, which left him wounded, but he was able to escape with his life. The police were skeptical, to say the least. They knew Karl and that he was a respected man around town, but nonetheless, they decided to bring him in for questioning. Karl told police that he did attack the man, but that it was in self-defense. The police decided to put Karl into a holding cell while they investigated. Things took an unexpected and dark turn, however, a few hours later when they checked on Karl and found that he had taken his life by using the bedsheet and giving himself the old Jeff Epstein special. Police were curious as to why Karl would take his own life if he was innocent, so they decided to search his apartment, but they never could have been prepared for what they were about to find. To put it in terms that you all will understand, Karl Denke was Ed Gein before Ed Gein was Ed Gein. If you know, you know. Inside Karl's apartment, police found large amounts of human flesh that was being prepared to be eaten. They also found all kinds of crafts made out of human bones and leather items made out of human skin, like belts, suspenders, shoelaces, and the list goes on. And to make it even worse, it appeared as if most of these items were being prepared to be sold to the public in his butcher shop. Some of the other remains found in his house included 16 femurs, 4 pairs of elbows, and 65 feet. The most disturbing discovery came when police decided to search a notebook found in Karl's apartment. In this notebook, they found the names of 31 murder victims that spanned the course of over 20 years. Now, having 31 victims is enough to make Karl an absolute prolific killer. But crazy enough, due to the amount of remains found in his apartment, the police believe his true victim count is at least 41. After Karl's death, the community tried to forget what had taken place under their very noses. But 2 decades later, when Karl's shed was torn down, skulls and other human remains were found. This led to a rejuvenated interest in his case, and it's because of this that we have any information about Karl and his crimes at all. 2 haunting things really stick with me from this story. The first is the fact that Karl's house is still standing to this day. This is an extreme example of if only these walls could talk. The second thing that sticks with me is how there's only this one known photo of Karl, and it was taken right after his death. It's eerily haunting how he appears to be grinning, almost as if he's delighted by the fact that he got away with a lifetime of these crimes and never had to face the consequences. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. This is going to be a regular series I'm doing, so if you liked it, think about subscribing.